Hi, first off I'd just like to say that this will contain spoilers about the endings of Mass Effect 3. If you don't want to hear them, you probably want to stop. That's okay. Now, going on, firstly I'd just like to say arguments on the internet have a habit of becoming very polarized, very absolutely for, absolutely against. The reality is, for most of us, is somewhere in between. I know it's very dramatic and exciting, makes great headlines when things are polarized, but really that's not the case, and it doesn't actually do anything good for anyone involved. I'm a big fan of Bioware, not a fan of the ending. Now, I'm not going to be talking about little things that I think could have been done better. Plot elements that work, that's okay. They don't have to be perfect, they just have to work. There's two that don't, in my opinion, and if I was going to see anything changed or suggest anything be changed, it'd be these two things. The first one is the Citadel plot hole. I don't see this being an artistic choice. I see this being literally a disconnect between Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 3. The Citadel in Mass Effect 1, the big exposition at the end of the game by Vigil, and there's lots of YouTubes about it, you can go and see it if you want, is that it's not what it seems to be. It was built by the Reapers, it's a trap. Among its various functions, one is that it can take control of the entire relay network and shut it down for non-Reapers. That means the Protheans suffered this fate. Every system was isolated, they couldn't communicate, they couldn't travel, and there was just whatever was there, there's tiny little fleets here and there, and they just get devastated by the entire Reaper fleet, just one planet at a time, just punching them down. Now, this is an auto-win strategically for the Reapers if they get their claws, tentacles, whatever, on it. So, you can't do that in Mass Effect 3, narratively speaking. Also, it's far more emotive, narratively speaking, to go for Earth. That's really where, it grabs the emotions of the player. Because it's your home, So, I can understand why it's gone, and why they've done it this way, but they never explained it. There's no explanation about why the Citadel doesn't do in Mass Effect 3 what it does in Mass Effect 1. You can ignore it up until the Cerberus base ending, where, and I'll get to this in a bit, the Citadel is just grabbed. It's just no longer yours, it's taken. Now, okay, the Reapers have it, but they don't use it to do exactly what it's always done. It no longer does that. And this needs an explanation. It actually does. It breaks the plot, the story, the immersion when you stop and you go, wait, why don't they do what they always did? And it only takes 34 seconds conversation, tops in the game, to actually pull this off, to actually justify it, to explain and stitch up that plot hole. And that's, my suggestion is this. Shepard, in Mass Effect 1, actually told the Council this is what it does. And on Cerberus base, when he says, why is this happening, you give the quick exposition of, we destroyed all the systems that allow the Citadel to control the Mass Effect relay, so it no longer does that, it's no longer an auto-win device. And also that, to a certain degree, tells the player, by the way, this is why they didn't go for it earlier. Now, how do you justify them just grabbing it? How do you make it not feel like a railroad that's immersion breaking? My suggestion is this. Sovereign was destroyed. Bits of him were scattered all throughout the Citadel wards. A lot of parts of him are still powerful enough to actually cause a little other indoctrination. It's been slowly creating sleeper agents within the Citadel for the last couple of years. Then the Reapers arrived, they had all these sleeper agents, they activated them, sent them to the mass relay hidden within there, which they couldn't destroy, they couldn't even disable it, they don't know really how it works, the Council I mean, and so the indoctrinated agents reconfigured it, which took a while, say 4 months, the months in the game, and fired the thing off to Earth. C-Sec, still in control, closed his arm. Great. There it is, in Earth. It's not where it needs to be. You've lost. You need to go to Earth to get the final part to the great big MacGuffin you're building. Next we go to Earth, the battle with Earth. I mean, the whole starting sequence, that's all great. It's beautiful. Loved it. Go through the fights, they're hell, they're fantastic, it's gritty, it's brutal, and so on. And rather than going with, you run down and you just get blown up by Harbinger who says nothing, despite being the voice of the Reapers in Mass Effect 2, and then the exposition is later by the Starchild, get rid of the Starchild altogether. Harbinger. is an enemy you know. It's an enemy is being built up. Put him there, and have him have a brutal battle. It's not a battle for victory. It's a battle mostly for survival, really. With the options. With, basically, you'll have the little cutscenes, and there's the Paragon and Renegade option. Or you can just let people do whatever it is they're doing. If the guy's going to stand up and fire a rocket, the Paragon option might do something to save him, the Renegade option might do something to make him more effective, but it's very much Shepard shapes that battle by who he is, or she is. Cool. The exposition, however, is the big thing, because Harbinger's going to start talking to you, and he can hear you when you talk back. He's a Reaper. Alternatively, maybe using comms. Now, here's a quick point, flashback. On your way there, you lost communication with the fleet. The Reapers only coming actually blew up your communication array. Done. This is important later. Okay, so you're fighting Reaper, and he gives the fighting Harbinger, and he gives the exposition. My suggestion is it goes like this. The Reapers harvest organic life, they melt them down, they fuse them together and mix them with synthetic AI to create the Reapers. They're a semi-organic, semi-synthetic, giant composite being. They've been doing this for millions of years, they believe they're the apex of civilization, and they're harvesting us. They're Cyber Cthulhu. This is, you know, Horrors of the Void kind of stuff. I thought it was fantastic in Mass Effect 2. Great premise. Really horrific enemy. They have no empathy for you. You're as important to them as a grain of wheat is to us. We're just food. They're farming us. Now, they've got a problem. Every cycle for millions of years now has produced less Reapers and less powerful Reapers. They're smaller, weaker, lesser in every way, like the destroyers you keep meeting. They're just... And the last one, as was revealed in Mass Effect 2, produced no Prothean Reapers. They failed. It was a failed crop. The harvest went perfectly, they gathered them, they collected them all, they melted them together, and it didn't work. Nothing. The Reapers are stagnating. They're getting to the... And it's not something that they can accept. They are the pinnacle of existence. They cannot fail. So they did things differently this cycle. Obviously, organics are the problem, so they decided to meddle. They left Sovereign around, he meddled, he did the Vacni Wars, all this stuff. To basically try and keep things going more how they need it to go. But it was only after Sovereign tipped his hand and tried to start the extinction cycle that they discovered humanity. And what they actually need, because they fuse everything together, is that they need diverse cultures and genetics and everything. It has to be different, because the sum of the parts is what matters, and if too many of the parts are the same, it doesn't work properly. It's not very good. Humanity, then, is the perfect food stock. This is the first time in millions of years they're able to create Sovereign class Reapers, the big ones, the 2-kilometer ones. I don't know if you noticed, but most of the skyscrapers around aren't 2 kilometers tall, which means most of the Reapers that you see walking around there aren't actually that big. They're not as big as Sovereign. They're not as big as Harbinger. So Harbinger's there giving the exposition that humanity is the best chance. They will create the apex of all Reapers that exist now. They're perfect. And thus, you must not fire the Crucible. We will not let you. Why? Because it will destroy you. No. Because the Crucible is then revealed. The big plot twist is the MacGuffin doesn't do what is advertised, which everyone should have been expecting, and it was weird that it did. It does exactly what the Reapers intended it to do, because it's a Reaper failsafe. Whenever, and this isn't the first time organics haven't gone according to plan, whenever they do, occasionally a crop goes wild, it gets out of control, it's a pain to deal with, and it's a threat is the big thing. Because the Reapers aren't indestructible. Extremely powerful, but they're used to going in system by system in overwhelming numbers against constrained, dying, starving forces. That's what they're used to. They don't like fair fights. So going along, it's a giant device. It's the one-shot kill. It always disguised as, a previous race designed it, but never finished it. So what it actually does is really quite simple. If you hook it up to the Citadel, it amplifies and transmits the Reaper indoctrination signal to every active mass relay in the galaxy. Everything gets indoctrinated, full of all the neurons burnt out, turned into mindless husks. That normally wouldn't be a problem, but you can't. The Reapers can't make Reapers out of husks. They're destroyed. They're no longer what they were. They need intact. They need you in your actual normal frame of mind to be melted together with all of your friends and millions of strangers into a new Reaper, which is horrifying and fantastic. So, they don't want the Crucible to be fired because they'll lose humanity, because there's a relay here. It'll wipe out humanity on Earth. It's too big a loss. They finally, after millions of years, have grade A food stock, and they've hit the jackpot. They don't want to lose it. So, after this explanation, you look up, because Harbinger takes off into the sky, heading towards the Citadel, which Shepard can see with his eyes. And he looks up to see the Citadel arms opening, and he can actually see the Crucible flying towards it. Now, he's got two options. He can either not believe and stand around, which really isn't an option, or he can do something about it. Now, he can't communicate with the fleet. He can't communicate with the Citadel, no one has in a while. What we can do is run straight forward into the mass relay that's tied to the conduit. There's a little bit of an explanation of what the hell that thing is, and fire himself up there, along with his buddies, along with Anderson, so you can have the poignant, beautiful scene where, Anderson dies and gives the thank you speech, essentially. And there they are on the Citadel, at the back of a Reaper army, because the Reaper troops are being fired up there continuously in an army to try and take the Citadel. Because CSEC didn't lose it automatically, per se. Here is where you get to see the characters that you've talked to on the Citadel. You get to see Bailey and all of that. You get to see all your effort on the Citadel with CSEC come to fruition. It's right there. You fight your way through the Reapers to them, and you get to see what happens to them. Now, you also get the extra reveal, because Cerberus isn't done yet. The Elusive Man wasn't there. He's got another part to play. While CSEC was engaged with all the Reapers, and the commando team went in and cleansed Citadel HQ. That's where they've opened their arms. Cerberus is actually doing that. So you get the final epic fight is against the elite Cerberus. That's where you can really push the limits of gameplay to get to the confrontation with the Elusive Man, which is more or less similar to how it currently is. I mean, you don't need to invite Mark Sheen back in to do endless amounts of lines. It's pretty good as it is. But you can have that confrontation. You can have your squad mates disabled by the collector field, by his control field. Now, here where things can diverge dramatically. You've got one essential level design that leads all the way up to this, and then it diverges depending on how that confrontation goes. And it's a verbal one. It's not a fight. He's a mastermind. He's not a thug. So, did you save the collector base? If so, he'll have the device. He'll have the ability to control the Reapers. You can go Paragon and convince him to regain some humanity and use it to disable the Reapers, or allow you to use it to control them, probably killing yourself in the process to essentially, possess the Reapers or give them new purpose. Did you go Renegade and gun him down and use it anyway? Did you destroy the collector base? If you did, the Cerberus troops are not so indoctrinated. They're actually useful. At which point, does Paragon Shepard convince him to, of the error of his ways? Does he, and then he throws the Cerberus fleet in a do what it takes, take down the Reapers, fashion, to give the fleet the edge to victory? Or do you gun him again, break his control Renegade style, gun him down, and much like he did in Lara did in Lara the Shadowbreaker, give the order to the troops yourself? There's other options. There's myriads of them. There's different ways it can pan out. You can use the Crucible, modified. You can not use the Crucible, modified. The options are all there. There should be the option, as people have talked about, that is about unity. It's about fighting the Reapers as humans, as Asari, all of the races of the galaxy. I think that option should be there, personally. I also think there should be an option of the happy ending. It doesn't need to be sunshine and roses, just there. Anyway, I'm out of time. Putting my 2 cents out there. If you're hearing this, thanks for listening, and please comment, please agree, disagree, whatever. It's all good. Thank you.